right. Um,
Also, want to put in a plug for Father Kennedy has a new documentary out, which is the story of his life, and it's called "Are We One?"
no, it's called, well, yeah, keep going.
Okay,
Are we one or
are
are
we
we
not,
not?
or are
Oh
we?
my gosh,
Which
it's a powerful moment. Are we one or are we not?
which was a question that Bernie Glassman, who was Jewish Zen master in New York City, posed to them. He did a lot of work with the homeless there. But it gives you a feel for Father Kennedy, who, of course, is our teacher, uh, and well worth watching. So it's Morningstar Zendo is where you can connect with it. There's Morningstar Zendo something,
I don't know if you can actually, if it's streamable right now.
but I'm sure they can find some way to get you to the thing,
Maybe.
and maybe get on their mailing list and find
When
out
it comes out, we'll
when
let you know for sure.
when it's uh, when it's available again.
Matthew has done some of the virtual meditations with us
And
from
of course,
Morningstar, and Tim.
Tim was a regular.
Tim was a regular, and Father Kennedy was led an amazing life, and so this is a lot about that.
And
And when
it's
he,
three major teachers.
yeah,
And,
and Bernie Glassman was apparently very criticized. There was an uproar, an upheaval when he uh, presented
ordained Father King.
ordained Father Kennedy as a Zen master, as a Roshi, and uh, there was an upheaval that he would do such a thing to a Jesuit priest. And he finally, that was his line. He finally said, "Are we one or are we not?"
Yeah. So that goes right into, oh my God,
Oh, good. Dr. Katz here.
Dr. Cat. Um, so today we're going to be talking about emotions.
Okay.
Um, and that's precisely the way the, the, the problem that most of us approaching meditation have is with dealing with emotions. And it's because we don't understand emotions. And most of what we consider emotions are already at the level of thought. So when you look at what an emotion is, children have emotions. An infant has emotions, but they don't have thoughts. As a consequence, they have the purest form of emotion that is possible for us to have, and that is a physical sensation. So you hear me saying that the purest contact that we have with reality is through our senses. Well, those senses hitting our nervous systems produce a biochemical response, which is what an emotion is happening at the level of bodily sensation. At that point, a child's brain has not been wounded. It doesn't go into the amygdala, it doesn't go into the prefrontal cortex. It's handled relatively directly. It hits, it lasts, it's gone. That's what we want to have happening. And so when we meditate, we're trying to get back through the layers of defenses and reactivity that have accrued over the history of our brain. So when people come in to see me, I say, well, let's talk about your past. Not that we're going to go through your past, but I need to know where your brain has been, because the way where your brain has been is going to shape the way you view reality. It's going to shape the way you see yourself, the way you see life, the way you internalize what's coming in. So the goal of meditation is gradually to acknowledge that what I think is an emotion is not really an emotion. It's already got layers of interpretation. And I'm going to go into that uh, in just a second. So Rumi has this wonderful poem. I think I read it before, but it bears repeating, and it's called close the language door. And he says, there's some kiss we want with our whole lives, the touch of spirit on our body. So whether we know it or not, that hunger that we have, that deep yearning, is for that childhood response that we had. Like when my daughter were driving to Evanston, take her to the pediatrician. She's 4 years old. She goes, Mom, Dad, the sun is kissing me. Okay, that is a level of experience that is profoundly spiritual that kids get, and we knew it as kids, and we've lost it because words now interfere. So you hear me say, lose language because language divides. Are we one or are we not? The words are what divide us. Our theories, our prejudices, our past experiences, the way we interpret the world, we cling to that as if that's truth or reality, and it's not truth or reality. So to get back to that experience we're hungering for, we've got to let go of language. Rumi goes on to say, seawater begs the pearl to break its shell, and the mother of pearl in the shell coats an irritant, and coating the irritant over and over again is what creates the pearl. Your defenses are your pearl, but you're never going to have that direct experience of life again until you melt those defenses and can experience the irritant without defending, without coating it with mother of pearl. So we've lost that ability to directly experience, and because of that, we've lost our passion. So part of what he says, and the lily, how passionately it needs some wild darling. We've got to get in touch with our passion to get rid of these defenses. We have to yearn for that connection. As Rumi said, the yearning is the connection. It's that remembrance of when we were one, when we knew that, when we felt it, when we experienced it, where it wasn't an idea, a concept, but a living reality, to get back to that intensity of desire in ourselves. Rumi says, at night I open the window and I ask the moon to come and press its face against mine. And you know the moon is the most perfect example of spirituality. She, as Father Kennedy says, she takes all the light from the sun. She has no light of her own, and she gives it all back, keeping nothing for herself. So he begs the moon, come in, press your face against mine. Let me feel the energy emanating from you. He says, press your face against mine and breathe into me. Give me your spirit. Close the language door and open the love window. The moon won't use the door, only the window. I love that. The moon, the kiss we want, that connection isn't going to come in through your head. It's going to come in through your body. Okay? So when we're sitting here and we listen to her talk about emotions, I want to do something from meditation by Stephen Levine, where he says, when you're sitting there looking at an emotion that you're having, begin to notice the voice that's interpreting what you're experiencing. So we have this interpretive voice that's always narrating, even when we're out walking. Oh, look, there's this, here's this. So it's narrating and describing what you're experiencing. And look at the voices, listen to their intensity. He says, is the voice a critical voice? Is it an angry voice? Is it a confused voice? Does it feel helpless? Does it feel lost? You know, when you're dorsal, it feels lost, it feels hopeless, it feels helpless. Everything it's looking at in terms of your feelings is going to be interpreted in that context if you're dorsal. If you're angry, as Pema says, you're going to blame yourself. You're going to blame other people. It's going to have a critical quality to it. It's going to tinge it. He said, look at the intention. Look at how it's trying to get somewhere. It's trying to get you to do something. That's the Shenpa in it. Says, as you listen to it, are you feeling better? Or are you feeling worse? If you're looking at it purely and there's an overlay, the voices are creating an emotion. That's why we have to catch it early, because the interpretive voice adds emotion to what's already there. It's very hard to catch the pure impact of the initial response because it immediately starts spiraling off through the conditioned mind into layers of interpretation that trigger further associations and further emotions. It says, does it accept you as you are? Does it really take you closer to your true nature, which is spaciousness, which is feeling at home, feeling joyful? It says, is there any compassion at all in the way you're seeing what you're looking at? And this is the most fundamental thing to understand. When you're ventral, you're naturally compassionate, and the way you view your emotions is within a context of total acceptance. And in the same way you would view a child or someone you love dearly who is going through the same thing. You would create space for it. You would not sit and judge it. You wouldn't react against it. You wouldn't close against it. You would try and keep your heart open. But we don't do that. We don't listen. We don't just receive the emotions. We get caught up in the point of view that the judgmental mind already brings. So when she's talking today about sitting with emotions, sitting with feelings, see if you can begin to catch the overlays. And when those overlays come up, just breathe and release them. Breathe and release them and come back to the sensations in the body. This thing I'm calling anger, what is it really? Is it an upset stomach? Is it a pressure behind my eyes? Is it a clenching of my buttocks? Is a feeling of claustrophobia and feeling trapped? You know, what is the real physical nature of this? So when you think emotion means to move out, it's energy that wants to move out. It wants to be expressed, to press out. Sitting and analyzing it, as we call it, the paralysis of analysis, simply creates the whirlpool that keeps even the undesirable emotions trapped in the body. And so we're unwittingly, by trying to fix ourselves or trying to fix what's in front of us or understand what's in front of us, we keep that energy trapped. It's not free to release. We're keeping it alive. I'm not this emotion. I was me before this emotion emerged. My true identity is there behind this. All this needs to be done is to let it go. It's just energy in this form. So as we said last week, all energy is sacred. It's all divine. As Trungpa said, there's no point in choosing. No point in choosing this emotion over this emotion, this experience over that. No point. No point. So let's hear what Sharon's got to say.
And then we'll continue in silence.
We'll continue in silence
when she's
complete
finished
the meditation. Yeah.
So wait for our bell to
our
ring us
one
out.
Ringy dingy, two ringy dingy.
And so on.
Awareness of thoughts and emotions. Welcome back. For today's practice, we're cultivating mindful awareness of thoughts and emotions. Working with thoughts and emotions during our meditation sessions sharpens our ability to recognize a feeling just as it begins, not 15 consequential actions later. We can then go on to develop a more balanced relationship with it, neither letting it overwhelm us, so we lash out rashly, nor ignoring it because we're afraid or ashamed of it. Let's begin. Please sit comfortably with either your eyes closed or slightly open, however you feel most at ease. Throughout the meditation, when I become silent, that is your signal to put into practice what I've just suggested. Notice if you're feeling an emotion. It might be a pleasant emotion or a painful one. If you're not feeling an emotion, for the sake of the exercise, see if you can call one to mind. See where you feel it in your body. What does it feel like? How is it changing? Can you experience it fully in the present moment without leaning forward into the future? What will it feel like in 5 minutes, in 10? If you see those kinds of reactions in your mind, settle back. Come back into your body. Feel the different sensations being born of that emotion in this moment. Can you quietly name the emotion without judgment? Anger, joy, sadness, whatever it is. Notice that neither the joyful state nor the anger state is permanent, unchanging. They're changing, evanescent. What am I feeling right now? What does it feel like? What's its nature? Settle your attention on the feeling, on the sensations of the in and out breath. And then when a thought arises that's strong enough to take your attention away from the breath, simply notice it as thinking. It's not the breath. And you can recognize it in just that way. It doesn't matter if it's the most beautiful thought in the world or the most terrible thought in the world, the one you would never disclose to anybody else. It's simply a thought. We cannot control what will arise in our minds. The range of thoughts is not our fault, and it's not a terrible problem, because we have the power and ability to relate to our thoughts in different ways. You don't have to judge yourself. You don't have to get lost in a thought or elaborate on it. You recognize it's simply a thought. Very gently let go and bring your attention back to the feeling of the breath. Some of our thoughts may be tender, caring. Some may be very painful, hurtful, but they're all thoughts. The thoughts are like clouds moving through the sky. Some are very light and fluffy looking, very inviting. Some are quite ominous and threatening, but we can just let them float on by. See them, recognize them, let them go. Bring your attention back to the feeling of the breath. Our habitual tendency is to grab onto a thought, build an entire world around it, or push it away, struggle against it. Here we stay even, balanced, calm. We simply recognize it's a thought. It's not who I really am. By its very nature, a thought, however intense it is impermanent, it's visiting. It is arising due to conditioning or habit. Very gently let it go. Bring your attention back, one breath at a time. when you feel ready, you can open your eyes or lift your gaze and end the session.
Okay, one more quick thing. In Buddhism, they talk about the first arrow and the second arrow. The first arrow is the pain that comes in from life. The first arrow is totally real, totally nobody's responsibility. It simply is. The second arrow is the suffering. It's what we do in response to the first arrow. So I have couples walk in, they go to me, well, don't you think I have a right to be angry about this? Or someone will come in like they did yesterday, well, I'm scared about all things going on politically. Don't you think I have a right to be afraid? Listen to the insanity of that question. You need a right to be angry? You need a right to be scared? Someone's going to give you permission to have your emotions? I mean, that's totally insane. And the question is, why would you want to keep them? Because all of these emotions are constrictions against life. And even grasping, if you think grasping is this, hanging on to your anger is this is grasping. Both are constrictions. That kiss we want can't come through this. Why do I want to let go of this? Why is this not worth hanging on to? Because it's blocking me from receiving what is out there for me in every minute. Okay? It's also blocking me from my true nature, which is compassion and joy and curiosity. And I can't do that when I'm doing this. So, and I'm going to feel disconnected from everybody around me. That's why Michael Singer said there is no reason to close. No reason to close. Why would you claim a right to it? So people come in, they argue. I have a right to be angry, I have a right to be mad. Okay, go ahead. But understand what you're doing. Understand that's what you do. That's not what life is doing to you. So that first arrow, neuroscience says that emotion lasts 2 minutes. Takes that long for the neuroreceptors to retract. Everything you're experiencing after that is self-generated. That's in your control. If you catch it early enough. Okay, big caveat. If you're awake enough, skillful enough, understand what's happening, and don't take the bait of Shenpa. Don't bite the hook. Don't go off into a storyline. Don't take what your brain is telling you seriously. So, guest house. Now's a good time to transition.
This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Thunderous silence.
Just so pretty.
So I noticed this week that something you said years ago has been a mantra for me, living from the neck down. That's been good this week. And then during the meditation this morning, uh, I noticed something when, when she was taking about pull up an emotion or something, and one several times I felt something that I've been feeling all week is just the breath holding a little bit at the bottom of it, and a little bit of you know, I mean, it's all, I'm having too many thoughts at once. uh, Subtle, just super subtle, you know, uh, tensing or holding of the jaws or the abdominals. And yeah, and then after I noticed that this week and during the meditation, when I would, reminded me of the monkeys, the messenger, when he said he had overdid it and he was laying on the floor and he caught that there was a catch in his breath. So it reminded me of that. And so then after that, I was trying to breathe smoothly and, it wouldn't work. And then when I just would notice the catch and not try to fix it, it fixed itself.
Yeah,
Anyway,
exactly. Go figure. So exactly, that's what we mean by the self-regulated quality of the body. If we get out of the way and quit trying to fix it, it'll fix itself. And that's that level of trust that we've lost. We keep trying to heal ourselves, and that keeps you in fight or flight. That you're just in the wrong part of your brain. I love that. And Matthew, that's that level of awareness that we need to get to where we see those subtle things. The subtle things aren't so subtle. So the difference between, I don't know if y'all can see that. So let's say I'm sitting and I'm sitting like this. Okay. This is victim posture. Any of you who read bioenergetics and Alexander Lowen know that this is collapsed over the heart. It's protecting the heart. It's trying to shrink, make my energy small. If you're sitting in meditation and you're sitting like this, your mind eavesdrops on your body. Your body thinks you're under attack. And the simple movement from that to this, which is why we are concerned about posture, because here I'm open, my heart's open to the world. That's a physical statement. It shifts where I am. So if your body has embodied the abuse and the neglect, like you say, the catch at the bottom of your breath, so subtle but so profound, because that triggers memories in childhood of sitting there with that breath like this. That's where you're living. You breathe where you were traumatized. All right. So until we have that awareness and bring that awareness into a non-judgmental field, the irony is we're all looking for a counselor who's not going to judge us, who's going to be unconditionally accepting, warm, all these things. No, folks, that's your job. That's your job to bring that awareness to your own experience. Okay? Nobody else knows what you've been through. Nobody can really appreciate it. But you can, and that's why I say take the time to appreciate yourself. 5 things you appreciate about yourself. It works. It shifts you into a totally different place instead of judging yourself for what you're feeling. Wow, damn. Phew. Great job. Love your awareness. Love your courage.
one
Love.
last thing is when there wasn't a catch, it was like pure ecstasy. It felt like what I've never done heroin, but it felt like what some type of Valium or heroin or, ideologically speak, like it was just pure ecstasy. And then I tried to keep repeating that in the next days, and it doesn't work when you try to.
But it'll come, Matthew. It'll come. Because I show people, I'll take a breath and go, and let it out. The hair will rise up on my arm. There's a deliciousness to a good breath that we're not even shopping for. Channing?
Um, I have a comment and a question. My comment is that when people ask me, what's the purpose of mindfulness? What's the purpose of meditation? What does it do for me? Um, and I tell them that when you do it regularly, daily, when it becomes a habit, then the awareness that Matthew had comes to you. You can't force it, you can't make it happen, but the awareness arises because you are in the habit of paying attention. Um, so you got there, Matthew. You've got the awareness. My question is when someone has expressive aphasia, which is something that can happen when you have a stroke, and they are unable to express themselves, would that mean that because they've lost the ability for language, that maybe they can get closer to feeling without judgment? You can, since you can't find the words, so much of the time language is what keeps us from really feeling or seeing what we see, because we always feel like we have to um judge it. Gee, that those flowers are beautiful. Well, what if you couldn't come up with the words for that? So Bart, would that mean that you just have pure feeling?
Okay, I don't know about that
Yeah.
condition, but what I do know, there's a book out called uh, uh, Jill Bolte Taylor, My Stroke of
Oh
Insight,
yeah. Yeah.
where she's the head of the brain bank at Harvard, and she has a stroke, and she wakes up and she's aware she's having a stroke, and so the language centers of her brain are going offline, and she's going into an ecstatic mystical state. And when she's in the ecstatic mystical state, it doesn't bother her that she's dying. She's watching it with a childlike fascination. And she's trying to get enough ego awareness back with what she's got left of the part of her brain being destroyed to call 911 and save her life. That's a beautiful thing in terms of talking about what she chooses to put back online once she's recovered from her stroke. If you want to understand exactly what this part is doing, it happened to her rather dramatically. So I don't know about the aphasia part, but I do know that it is a left brain, right brain thing. Now, if that's, I don't know that it's a totally desirable thing to live like that. Sri Chinmoy is like that. He was Santana's guru, Mahavishnu John McLaughlin. And he's like, his eyes are rolled back in his head like this.
Is that how you want to live?
And he just radiates joy and peace. And I mean, you get a great vibe off of him, but he can't feed himself. He can't drive a car. He has to have people get him from place to place. That's why ego is not a bad thing, as we say. It makes a great servant, horrible master, horrible master. So again, what we're looking at, there's a book called The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, and he said what drew him. He was an Olympic athlete, and he was drawn to Buddhism because he was walking with the Zen master, who fell through a rotten decking and gashed his leg open. And he said, what was amazing to me was what happened next. He said most of us would have gone, God damn it, and jerked our leg out and thrashed around. He said he didn't. He said he left his leg in place and took a very deep breath, and he let it out slowly, and then he very carefully removed his leg from the debris and took a look at it and said, I need this to take care of myself. That's that half second I talk about, where he didn't injure himself worse by jerking the leg out, by overcorrecting, by doing the things we tend to do because we're scared, but staying in that moment with the pain that was, not going any further, not letting it cascade out and get that ripple effect going. That's that form of control that I'm interested in. I don't know about the rest of you. You look at it and go, "How do you do that?" You know, I, I'm totally bemused, but I get glimpses of it.
I I had an experience earlier this week. Um, I'm having a lot of thoughts and words in my head, so I don't know how this is going to come out. Grief is very hot,
Hmm.
and it sits in the back of my throat and on my shoulders and in my back. And I was thinking about, I don't know exactly the thought that was in my head, but it was something, I don't want to feel like this, I don't want to feel this way. But then I thought, yes, I do, that I want the grief, even though I don't really like it, but I don't dislike it. I don't know, I'm still processing whatever it is that I was thinking, but it's very hot. I feel where it lives in my throat and in this area. And I don't hate it. I'm
Okay.
not mad at it. Yeah, I feel like I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay. And that's an honest statement, because I find that I spend half my day cultivating my suffering and the other half of my day letting it go. Uh, but that's a much better balance than I used to have, you know. So once you identify where it's pooling, breathe into it, Tiffany. Just breathe space into it and soften around it and just invite it, create space for it to leave, create an exit for it. All right. One of the things I say to people is you've got subtle energy channels in your body. Um, you don't have to create a space for the energy to leave. The channels are there, they're just blocked. So creating space around it, this constricts the flow of energy by softening, by opening, by breathing into it and allowing it to leave. Okay. It's, that song, I Am Light. The reason I love that, and I would play that every morning if I could. I'm working on a sound list to start, and that would be one of the first on it. I am light. I'm not this emotion. I'm not my trauma. I'm not my culture. I'm not my race. I'm not my gender. I'm not my nationality. I'm none of the labels I've been taught. I'm light. I'm pure energy. And when you start your day like that, when you start with that remembrance, then all of this is simply an encumbrance to revealing the thing, my true nature. That's who I am. I'm not this grief. I'm not this anger. I'm not this. One of the things that Linnell lives with is she lives with my PTSD responses. Not a damn thing I can do to stop them. Bam. Okay. And my body goes from being totally open to I feel physically sick when it happens. Okay. And then it takes me a while to get rid of all that stuff that emerges in an instant, and it'll take maybe half an hour to begin to discharge the energy. But I have compassion for myself and I have compassion for her. She doesn't deserve any of that. She didn't create that, but she lives with it. Okay. So it's impossible to live in relationship with each other without inadvertently hitting landmines and triggering abuse that you don't even know is there. Oftentimes your partner doesn't know is there. But again, the question is not, am I in the wrong relationship because I'm getting triggered? Is, does my partner have a capacity to own that it's their trigger, not you're not doing it to them, it's happening inside of them. Do they have a strategy for dealing with it? And are they capable of acting on that strategy? Can you watch them begin to dismantle the closures as they happen? How quickly do they get from this to being back, being available, being open and receptive? And if you've got that, you've got a precious relationship. Corinne, Ajna, then
Ajna, go first.
Uh, I just wanted to share something with Tiffany. I lost a dear feline friend this week, and I found myself not sobbing, but quietly weeping, and it was a contradiction. There was joy and relief for her because she was freed of really bad pain for which there would have been no escape, and yet sorrow and grief for myself because I knew I would miss her. And she had been in my life for 14 years and had been a beautiful spirit. So it was a combination of both joy for her and sorrow for myself.
Corinne.
Corinne.
Thank you, Ajna. I can relate to that. I sometimes think that if we're grieving, we all should wear a black band around our arms so everybody knows, oh, you are grieving. Because to me, grieving, back to Tiffany, and I'm sorry I didn't react to what you said about PSTD, about that's a different condition that you referred to, Bart. But I want to go back to Tiffany also, because I think grieving gives you a gentle insight and it takes time. And there's so many different parts of this grieving, but I've been able to read letters from my ancestors. I mean, way back, and it takes time to do that. It takes time to. I understand that that you can enjoy it in a way, that grieving is something that's given to us. I believe it is a gift. It takes time, and if we can breathe through it and realize we're not always grieving when it comes and when it hurts, then we can maybe see the sweet, gentle insight that it also can bring us, is what I'm saying,
That it requires to release. If I'm guarded, I'm protected against the world. I can't feel like I can't allow myself the vulnerability to grieve. And to be honest with you, I go to AA meetings to grieve. I don't particularly listen to other people. I sit with my hands on my knees and tune in and let go of the things that I need to grieve. So grief is the flip side of love. All right. Every time you love and you feel a connection with something, when you lose it, you're going to grieve. So Joni Mitchell's song, there's something gained, lost and something gained in living every day. Every day, gratitude for what you gained. That's why paying attention to what did I gain, being grateful for what came into my life today, and what did I lose? What do I need to grieve? So grieving is part of an essential part of your spiritual work. Sitting down and feeling that weary ache of loss, that emptiness that comes. That's what's preparing you for a new delight. As I pass through this, on the other side of that, I open back up and I get a new delight. It's not going to be the delight I had. I just lost my cat, Wendy, who's my official greeter at the house, and she had people who would even bring her food and treats. Perry's one of them. And and now I got nobody to greet me when I go, so there's a little bit of missing her every time. But that's okay. That's okay. There'd be something wrong if you didn't feel that. But don't let it lapse into poor me, I lost my cat. That's where it gets a little messy, if that makes sense. So, been a lot of animals on this screen. How many people have had animals crossing the Rainbow Bridge? So, um, they're smart. They're like the grizzly bears. They're getting the fuck out of Yellowstone because they know they're sitting on a super volcano. So, um, animals are leaving the planet. That's a joke. I'm talking like some people I know. I'm not making fun of them. They believe it. So let's own.
Okay.
Okay.
Take a deep breath
Nandi,
in.
you ready to own, bud?
You ready to own? Yeah.
Wow. Who knew? Oh.
Right.
Gosh, and I'll be thinking about you. Sorry about your kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine said the problem is there's a halo sale going on in heaven.
Had to get there. Yeah. Had FOMO, had to go get a good one.
Exactly. I
You know,
love you guys.
there's a reason why there has been a tradition for hundreds of years of wearing black when you are grieving. It is to, first of all, give yourself permission to grieve, and it's also to let everyone else know where you are in your being, in your body, and in your mind. You are grieving. And we've kind of lost that tradition, but I think it's a really good one. Wearing black when you're grieving.
Agreed.
I do too. Bye,
Have a great
guys.
week, everybody.
Bye.
You
Take
too.
care.